This is like a double 5-point perspective grid put side by side, which is an example of doing a 6-point perspective on the flat surface. This shows if you were standing in front over on the left side, that was in front of you. If you turned around and looked behind yourself, that's what the right side would show. If you actually rolled the one circle around the other one, the images would all fit together. How you display this, it would be a front of a disc and the back side of a disc, and just rotate the disc and would show both sides like this. This shows a more realistic scene. You can see the boy sitting in the chair, the rest of his body shows up and he's looking at the grid down below. And the couch would fit across in the middle. You can see that. The top of the windows would fit across. Even the fan. This is like a flattened out sphere. And just taking the grid, it only is one-sided. And you can see I've got 3 different points that are out front, but you can see they're anticipating points on the other side of the sphere. Each one of these project around the sphere to an opposite side. And you can see the grid is sort of in a triangular basis. I'm drawing cubes that are respecting that grid and going where the grid tells it to, creating a world within this. Cubical guys like this are projecting around, and you can see they go toward a point, they come around through the center of the ball, and it actually starts to get smaller and smaller when going the other direction. It also shows you how there's a lot of different ways you could put these points on a ball. Now I'm coming back with black because I feel like I have something that I'm going to hold. Even the holes are using the grid and going in perspective like they're supposed to. This will turn into cubical patterns that are floating in space around you. Continuing with the different colors. And you see these are all exactly the same planes. And then we'll come back with orange on this other side. Makes you aware of where you're located when you're looking at these. And even though they're going above your head, down below you, it's all the same planes. Sometimes I mix like pencil shading and pen and ink cross-hatching type of shading. And sometimes the lines, just extended lines in the shading techniques, help make things show up a lot better. I'd like to play with the inside like that because it helps to get a little bit more dimension to what you're looking at. This shows how I pushed it all the way to shading with cross-hatching and then pulled a little more of attention to the vanishing points. So I hope you'll give this a try. It's kind of fun to explore with. So this is the grid for a 6-point perspective. It has 5 different points on it. You can see it's like taking a sphere and just flattening it out. Now what we're going to be doing is using that grid, and I've cut out the paper around it to start with. And then all the lines, you can see there are straight lines in this. They're the ones aiming toward that center point. Otherwise, you pick up on the curved lines. And you can see I'm working with the room and following the grid and constructing a room that runs off the page in quite a few different places. That's going to be very important with those lines that are running off the outside of the circle because they actually have to come around and feed into the other side. So that's what I'm doing here is taping on the opposite side using the same grid for both sides. And those lines that run off, I'm extending them around to the back side because that's the rest of the picture. It's like you're getting a 180-degree picture on one side. The rest of the picture is on the opposite side. And then put your imagination hat on again and try and figure out what is behind yourself. What's in front of you on one side, what's behind you is on the other side. You don't want to just repeat what you did on the other side. And the windows and doors that are along the edge of the circle have to continue on to the other side. That's the challenge of this. So I start with pencil, and in this particular case, I just darken up the pencil and make it show up because you want to make sure it's as accurate as you can get. The floor tile, if you follow the grid, the floor tile just works out beautifully. Once you get it all sketched out and you darkened it all up, and then I'm going to put color coding. Like even this checkerboard floor is fun because it has to continue the proper checkerboard when you go on the back side of it. So if you get the checkerboard working, the same system should work right around to the back side. And coming back with the yellow, if it runs off the edge, the yellow plane will show up on the opposite side. These could be real scenes. You could be inside a cathedral and draw what's in front of you on this side and what's behind you on the opposite side. The same system of gridded perspective would work for that. I always like to think if this were a balloon that you were drawing on and you blew it up, it'd turn right into a thermosphere. So these hang and rotate like a couple of discs. They can be put on to a hard board, and they could be very small or they could be up 3-4 feet in diameter. See how when you roll it like a gear system, it actually fits together too. And it really shows it has some accuracy to it. So this is a Mercator projection 6-point perspective. I just want to remind people that a lot of ideas can come from the people that have made maps because they dealt with the Earth, which is a sphere, and figured out different ways to flatten it out. So what I've done is just taken his concept of flattening the Earth and put it into 6-point perspective. You can see that all 6 points are actually seen in this particular system. And then you're trying to create a complete room. So it would be a up-down, all-around room on the flat surface. The up and down lines, now instead of running straight up and down, are going toward a point above and a point on the bottom of this structure. Otherwise, there's 4 points around the middle, a lot like the continuous 4-point perspective system, but it gives you points on the top and the bottom. And that's what's different about this. And it pulls everything in. So the right side should actually fit with the left side, but it isn't like a straight line. It's a nice curve around this piece. Once again, doing a color coding the different planes so that you can keep organized when they look at this. When you do this, you can also just do the lines in light pencil if you wanted to do them yourself, or you can put a transparent sheet over the top of the grid, and then you don't have any of the lines showing up in the end. You can see there's a lot of different colors in this. I think there's 6 different colors that you end up using because it really is a full sphere when you're done. You have the ceiling and floors and the 4 walls around you. And see how that red pattern that we just drew fits into the other side? So that makes a complete spherical picture all on the flat surface. So next time you get in and you look at the Earth map on the walls, you'll have to go, oh, that's where you got the idea from. So this shows the result of this particular piece. I used a lot of acrylic white paint to cancel out a lot of the line. It still sort of shows up. I used a lot of cross-hatching to bring out the different patterns and to get the depth in the windows and all of that to show up a lot better. It's a great one to explore. I hope you take it on and see what you can come up with.